Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Marine Corps Recruit Depot's Friday morning color ceremony. We ask that you take this time to silence all electronic devices. The depot, which consists of 388 acres, is the Corps' oldest West Coast installation and has a recruit training mission dating back to 1923. This year, more than 16,000 young men will successfully complete a rigorous 3-month training cycle and depart the depot having earned the title Marine. We extend a warm welcome to the families and friends of the Marines graduating from Gulf Company. This morning, PFC Antonio Cole is the company honor man for Gulf Company and was recruited by Sergeant John Cox from the 9th Marine Corps District Recruiting Station, Chicago, Illinois. We would also like to extend a warm welcome to today's parade reviewing officer, General William L. Spider Nyland, retired. Extraordinary heroism while serving as assistant squad leader with 1st Battalion, 11th Marines, 1st Marine Division, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force in Afghanistan on 5 October 2010 in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. As Sergeant Farias' squad and others were preparing to depart their patrol base on a night patrol in the hotly contested Kajaki region of Helmand Province, Taliban fighters unleashed an ambush of 73mm recoilless rifle fire that inflicted at least 7 Marine casualties, 4 requiring urgent medical attention. A heavy volume of small arms and machine gun fire then poured in on the Marines from 3 enemy positions. Despite suffering a concussion and neck and shoulder fragmentation wounds from the 73mm blasts, Sergeant Farias exposed himself to unrelenting barrages of enemy fire, climbing onto the roof of the patrol base to engage the enemy with his rifle and grenade launcher and direct suppressive fire from 2 Marines onto the enemy positions. His unhesitating actions allowed reinforcing Marine squad to maneuver into the ambush compound, clear the kill zone, and transport the friendly casualties to a landing zone 400 meters away. Refusing to seek treatment for his own wounds, Sergeant Farias steadfastly held his position on the roof, providing protection for his fellow Marines until he and the last element safely evacuated the patrol base. By his decisive actions, bold initiative, and complete dedication to duty, Sergeant Farias reflected great credit upon himself and upheld the highest traditions of the world's finest fighting force, the United States Marine Corps. Now taking position at the head of the formation is the Commanding General for the Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego and the Western Recruiting Region, Brigadier General James W. Bierman. Accompanying him is Sergeant Major Sylvester D. Daniels, Sergeant Major for the Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego and the Western Recruiting Region. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the marching on of the colors and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. It is proper etiquette during the national anthem for all ceremony attendees to place their right hand over their hearts, and for men in the audience wearing headgear to remove it.
March on the colors! Strike 8 bells and sound 20 colors. Steady.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commanding General for the Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, and the Western Recruiting Region, Brigadier General Bierman.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I had a chance to meet a number of you at the conclusion of the motivation run yesterday, but for those who I haven't had a chance to introduce myself, I am Brigadier General James Bierman, and I'm the Commanding General of Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, and the Western Recruiting Region. What a fine California morning on this beautiful and historic post. I'm going to address the majority of my comments this morning to the great parents and loved ones of the Marines of Gulf Company, 2nd Recruit Training Battalion, who will graduate shortly over there on the parade deck. But before I talk to all of you, I'd like to acknowledge a few other folks and groups who are with us here today. The great-looking Marine who came out here with me on the ceremonial deck is Sergeant Major Sylvester Daniels. He's the senior enlisted Marine here at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego, and I'm very lucky to get the chance to serve with him. We have seated in the front row our parade reviewing official, General Spider, William Spider Nyland. Now we're going to read General Nyland's biography in total as part of the graduation ceremony, and I won't try to repeat that, but I also can't just leave it there. I want to say a couple of short words. General Nyland is one of the great strategic leaders that the Marine Corps has had during the course of the last 12 years that we've been in combat. His service to our country began during another war. He showed his patriotism and his fidelity when he joined the Marine Corps in 1968 at the height of the Vietnam War. In fact, we're extremely fortunate and pleased to have a number of his classmates from his Officer Basic School class in TBS Class 169. General Nyland accomplished a number of extraordinary things during his career, but I think it's probably safe to say the capstone of 37 years of service was his appointment in 2002 as the Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps shortly after being promoted to the grade of full general in the Marine Corps. Served as Assistant Commandant from 2002 to 2005, and those were tough years. Those were some of the very toughest war years we had in Iraq, and Afghanistan wasn't quiet either. But General, as I mentioned to you a short time ago, sir, there are many of us, and I'm at the front of the line, who know you well, who've served under you, and we're so appreciative of your dynamic and inspiring leadership and the vision you showed during those years. And I can't tell you how honored we are to have you, sir. So thanks for being here. Hoorah. For the members of 169, for all the other Vietnam vets who are here, this is your day too. And thank you, all of you, for your great service to our country. Sometimes we've been a little slow with our Vietnam veterans to say thank you, and I'm glad to offer that. We've got, over here on the left, we've got some dynamite-looking veteran Marines from the Ira Hayes Detachment in Arizona. And then if you go about 2 rows back, you see some terrific-looking young men and women in blue uniforms, and then they're from the Air Force JROTC unit from Hamilton High School in Chandler, Arizona. And I just want to tell each and every one of you that if you like what you see here today, you're still not committed to any service. So give it some thought. We've got some members here up front, some family members of PFC Antonio Cole, who is the honor graduate of Golf Company today. And then last but certainly not least, I've got my own bride there in the second row, Beth. And I probably ought to salute her too for everything she's done for me, but I'm gonna hold off here in public if that's okay. And now to the parents, family members, friends, and loved ones of our Marines who are going to graduate here today. I'm extremely pleased that all of you are here because I believe the colors ceremony that you're witnessing here this morning, it puts the graduation that's going to occur at 10 o'clock into the context it needs to be in. What just occurred over there by the colors and on the parade deck here is United States Marines, in the professional way that characterizes everything we do, took care of the colors of our country. It was done crisply, and it was done on time. Today, at bases and stations all over the world, Marines are taking care of the colors in the same way. At 140 embassies and consulates that are guarded by United States Marines, at expeditionary fighting patrol bases in Afghanistan, and aboard our amphibious ships, Marines are also handling the colors of our country. Now today, you know, we've got all these fantastic folks here. We've got the chairs set up. We've got a band. We've got a Marine Sergeant Major in Overwatch. But it's important that I tell all of you, those colors are going to go this time tomorrow. There's probably not going to be anybody here. There's probably not going to be anybody watching. But those Marines are going to handle the colors in exactly the same steady, quiet, and professional way that they did here today. Your sons and the Marines who just conducted, who raised the colors and here behind me, they are the inheritors of the legacy and tradition of the Marine Corps. All these Marines, your sons, wear the exact same Eagle Globe and anchor on their pocket as the Marines who participated in one of the most famous raising of the colors in our nation's history. And of course, I speak of the raising of the American flag on Mount Suribachi on Iwo Jima in 1945, almost 70 years ago. And there were others watching that day too. As the colors were raised up on top of that volcanic mountain, and the Pacific breeze blew in hard, and our flag unfurled and shows its stripes. Marines in combat all over that tiny island, they looked up, they saw the colors on the hill, and they cheered at the top of their lungs. Our Navy brothers and sisters out there on hundreds of amphibious ships surrounding the island, they saw the colors go up and they cheered as well. The Japanese defenders, for the most part, didn't see the colors being raised. Those brave men were burrowed in deep in caves, in spider holes, and in fighting positions. But we know from the memoirs of the few who survived that battle that the word of an American flag being raised on Suribachi quickly spread throughout the Japanese defensive system. And they talked about the fact that it sent a message to them of inevitable American victory, and it also let them know the nature of the American fighting men that they were scrapping with, United States Marines. Now, your sons are the newest Marines in our entire Corps who have earned the title of Marine. But they are every bit as much United States Marines as any of the legendary heroes of our past. They're forged from the same iron, and they're worthy successors to all the traditions and the history of our Corps. And we're very, very proud to have them. To back out a little bit, I'd like to say, open the aperture and talk a little bit about the men and women who are being recruited into the United States Marine Corps at this point in our history. Now, we train men here at Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego. Our female Marines are trained at Marine Corps Recruit Depot Parris Island, but everything I say applies to them, and we couldn't be more proud of our 13,000 female Marines. But the young men and women who are being recruited into the Marine Corps nowadays, 99.9% of them are high school graduates. Almost all of them come from the highest mental category, and they have all had a very hard and rigorous look at everything with regard to their character and their record, and they are of the highest moral character. On top of the fact that only 1% of all Americans will ever choose to serve our country in uniform, the young men and women who join the Marine Corps today are patriots. They made a decision to serve their country during time of war, and they could have done everything else, but they chose to answer the call to the colors when their country needed them the most. And I'm very appreciative and respectful of that fact. To make a point, because it needs to be made again, that I mentioned yesterday at the conclusion of the motivation run, none of the Marines behind me, none of the Marines who are about to graduate made it here on their own. There was somebody, and many of them are sitting in this great crowd today, who had a great handle on their success. And let me tell you, as a father of five, with my wife Beth here, we could readily appreciate the effort, the patience, the mentoring, and the love that all of you have put into each and every one of your Marines, and it's made all the difference for them, and I thank you for that. I want to wrap up my comments by introducing you to a representative group of Marines who have had a huge part in the transformation of your sons over the last 12.5 weeks. As you look over here across the parade deck, the Marines on the right, my left, are from the 12th Marine Corps Recruiting District. They represent Marines, recruiters, west of the Mississippi, who are positioned at over 750 Marine Corps recruiting facilities as part of the Western Recruiting Region, and their responsibility is to find those young men and women with the mental, the physical, and the moral capability to be Marines. And I don't have to tell any of you all, a lot of the Marines who are graduating this time of year, they've had a relationship with their recruiters that goes back for almost a year, and it's been a very powerful and significant relationship. As I move to your left, the formation in the center is manned by Marines from 3 different units. In the front rank are Marines from Weapons and Field Training Battalion, which falls under this command. It's located up in Camp Pendleton, and these are the Marines who have the awesome responsibility of teaching the recruits how to shoot their rifles. We say in the Marine Corps, and we're very, very proud of the timeless fact that every Marine is first and foremost a rifleman. The Marines in the second rank were in that campaign cover. I don't think they need too much introduction to most of you, but they are drill instructors from the Recruit Training Regiment who have spared no effort over the last 3 months to train and transform your sons. I can't forget that dynamite-looking Navy sailor who's also in the second rank. Yeah, I see some fist pumps there, right on. But he represents the Navy Marine Corps team. Since the very birth of the Marine Corps, we've been part of the Naval Service, and we've been partnered with our brothers and sisters in the Navy. They are, in our own ranks, our corpsmen, our religious specialists, but in a bigger sense, everything we do is part of a team with the United States Navy. The last formation behind me is composed of Marines from Headquarters and Service Battalion, and these are the unsung heroes of the Marine Corps Recruit Depot. They support every single other activity that occurs on the recruiting side, on the recruit training side, and they maintain this extraordinary base for us. I don't want to forget the color detail behind me. That's led by Color Sergeant Davidson. Besides the relationship that a Marine has with his personal weapon, with his rifle, there's no greater honor for a United States Marine than to be entrusted with the care of our national and our organizational colors. And that's what these Marines who comprise the Color Guard do. And last, and certainly not least, I can't forget our own Marine Corps Recruit Depot band, led by Warrant Officer Wire, and they just bring every event and every ceremony up to the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, in wrapping up my comments, I wish that I could end by telling you that your sons are going to graduate from Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego, and they're always going to be safe. I can't do that. They're American warriors now, and they're being trained by the United States Marine Corps to go into harm's way if necessary, to defend the values embodied in our Constitution and represented by that great American flag. What I can tell you, and it's a very significant thing, what I can promise you is that they're never going to be asked to do anything where there's not another United States Marine to their left, to their right, and overhead. And I can also promise you that they will always be well-led and well-trained. And the last thing that I can assure you is whatever else they go on to do in their lives, they will always have the greatest pride in having earned the title of a United States Marine. God bless you, Semper Fi, and I'm very glad you're here.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the retiring of the colors and remain standing for the playing of Anchors Aweigh and the Marines Hymn.
Return the colors!